Okay, you're live.
Hi, I'd like to bring the meeting of the Town of Orleans Architectural Review Committee to order. Today is Thursday, December 10th, 2020. It's 6:30 p.m. and I will start with a roll call of the members. Steve Sally.
Present.
Carol Marsh.
Present.
Deb Oaks.
Present.
Paige McMahon.
Present.
Nancy Jorgensen.
Present.
And I am Bernadette McLeod. I am the chair for tonight's meeting. First on the agenda, we have 179 LLC manager David Datz and Jim Morrow. Can you come up and give us a little synopsis of your presentation for a new sign?
Sure. Let's see. Well, what we're doing is we are in the old Gosnold space, and we're real estate and estate planning attorneys, and we have an office in Provincetown, and we're opening up an office in Orleans in the old Gosnold building at 179 Route 6A. So I think what we're doing is we're pretty much just keeping the signage very similar to what Gosnold had, very simple, clean lines, Cape Cod colors, white, blue. And we have two other people in our building sharing some space with us. We have a chiropractor who was next door and knocked on my door one day and said, "Do you want to rent your space?" So we ended up having him, and then he has a massage therapist that he works with. So it's real estate attorney, massage therapist, and chiropractor in one spot, all one-stop shopping. So that's it. So basically we had Dawn design our sign for us. She came up with a beautiful sign, and I wanted to, I told her I wanted something that looks pleasing to the community and pleasing as you go by. And I wanted to be Cape Cod colors. And she came up with this, she did a beautiful job. She made all three of our signs look similar but different. And I think that's it. That's my presentation.
Is it the same size of the existing sign or is it changed? We don't have a picture of the existing sign, just the post.
Oh.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
I think
but
it's, I think the screen froze for a second. I'm sorry. So you said is it the same size or a little bit larger or smaller?
Is it the same, it the same posts or the posts are new as well?
It's the same post. I think Dawn had to increase the post by a few inches. I don't remember how many inches in order to, just because she just liked the way it looked better. Because before Gosnold just had one small sign. So our sign is taking up that space, and then we have the chiropractor small sign under it, and then the massage therapist under that. So I think they're raising the post a few inches just visually to accommodate that. It was going to fill the entire post, and I think she did it a few inches higher just to make it visually pleasing.
Any questions? Stephen?
I take it that the posts are being replaced, or I think that was your question, Bernadette.
I don't think they're being replaced. No, I think what they're doing is they're just adding a few inches to the top, but I don't think they're they're not replacing them. No, it's the same.
The point is that the sign stays at the same location.
Yes.
Carol, any questions?
No, I think it's a very nice looking sign.
Oh, thank you very much.
Deborah?
I like it.
We had tons of time with COVID, so.
No, I have no questions. Looks good.
Nancy?
One question I have, it says just a little bit higher. Right now, your signs are 60 inches and a half, which is 5 feet. And they're over 5 feet wide. we don't have the existing measurements. So when you say a little bit more, you're talking about over 6 feet high? That's my only concern about the size and how much larger it's going to be than what's
Oh,
there
I
currently.
can tell you what the size is. I just have to pull it up on my computer.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Sure, give me just 1 second. I'm slow, so it's going to be just a second here.
That's all right.
No worries.
You're pulling up the new sign measurements,
Right, right.
right? But what I'm saying, without the old sign measurements,
Oh,
we
I see
don't
what
know
you're
how much larger this is over what's there.
Oh,
I
Don
think
has-
Why does
I-
that matter if it's within the square footage allowed?
Right.
We don't really care if it's the same, do we?
I don't really know what the difference is, to tell you the truth. I just know that Gosnold had one sign and
Whoops, you froze.
You just froze.
larger. I don't really know exactly how much larger it became. It's earlier. Let's see are you asking me the size of the current sign? Because that's the only thing I have. I
Yes,
don't know
what is
I
it?
think Gosnold
If you
took their
have,
sign,
if
so
you
I don't know
have
what
it,
their sign
yes,
was.
I would like to know what it is. You don't know?
Okay.
It's on the application. The current sign is 27.2
It says it
square
is,
feet.
this
Total.
one's-
No, that's the new
Do you
one.
want to know?
That's the new one.
The new
That's what he's
sign
giving us, isn't it?
says total of all signs, 28.8 square feet. And it says it's 65 inch wide,
Right.
40, 50, 60, and 64 inches high.
Okay. And Deb, you're saying that's within the square footage? Deb,
Yes. We have,
you did the calculations?
the setback from the property line is 15 feet. They can go up to 32 square feet. And they're under that. I believe that's
Okay.
what it says, right?
That's the only
Setback.
questions I had.
Paige, any questions?
No, I think the sign looks good.
Thank you.
I think it looks good too.
No, thank
So,
you.
if there's no other questions, I will take a motion.
Move approval of signs, that page as presented.
I second it.
That's Carol Marsh seconding. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.
Are we
I'm
gonna
gonna do a
Is that
roll call
everybody?
though.
all vote?
I'm gonna do a roll call for that.
Yeah.
Stephen,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
Deborah,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Paige,
I,
and Bernadette, I'm an aye. So good luck on your new venture.
Oh,
And
thank you so much.
Thank you.
we will be emailing you something to sign
Mhm.
and then you'll send it back to us.
Okay. And if anybody needs any help with any refinancing or purchases, we are here.
are you lawyers as well?
Yeah, we work for like Siemens Bank, Cape Cod 5, Cape Cod Cooperative, all of the local banks. We've had an office in Provincetown for a long time, but truthfully, one of our attorneys lives near Orleans. She's in Harwich and she's always wanted us to open an office closer to her
Closer.
home.
Yeah.
So I said, well, if we ever find anything, and then we did.
That's
So
great.
I ended up opening. So we're excited and, you know,
Good.
Congratulations.
thank you
Yep,
very much.
good luck.
Thank you so
Welcome
much.
to Orleans.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have Sunset Souvenirs, 64 Main Street, represented by John and Patty Carrero.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Patty Carrero, and I will be representing Sunset Souvenirs at 64 Main Street, Orleans. This evening, we are coming in for just a new sign change to put in the existing frame. No size difference. The old tenants, Orleans Community Exchange, moved out about 6-7 months ago, and we are currently taking over that spot at 64 Main Street. So we'd like to be able to put up our new sign for the business.
So one comment I have, and I don't have any problem with the sign at all, but I had to look up on the website where 64 Main Street was, because your photo was not good at all, and you did not supply any type of a site plan. So, and you did not supply really anything around you, so it was hard to tell where your business was, because you really couldn't tell from the photo that it was that building.
Okay.
Just in case you come back, you know, for something else, you should if you read the criteria on the application, it does say photographs of location and surrounding area, site plan with location of sign marked. So even though it's an existing post, I had no idea where 64 Main Street was until I Googled it.
Okay.
So just
Is
my
it
2
right
cents.
across the street from Friends?
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
And one other thing is that you had this says original color, and then you have something that is a completely different color. And I don't know if it just printed that way or,
Yeah, when I was told to make 6 copies of it, that's why I wrote the original on that. Those are the original colors, but when I copied it, it comes out like more bluish than the aqua type color.
Blue and pink.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not. It's definitely the original colors of the peach and the aqua.
Okay, good.
I would note that we have those color samples with the names on them in
Right.
the application.
Did you put in some original color samples to the office?
Yeah,
Oh, you have them?
yes,
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So
yes,
I didn't get the packet, so
okay.
that's fine.
I'm just curious, Patty, what kind of a business is it?
Gift store. We're
Gift
going to
store.
be opening a gift store.
Cool.
I was just curious.
Sure.
Any other comments about the sign?
No, not me.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
I move,
Go
Steve
ahead,
speaking.
Steve.
I move that we accept the application as presented.
I'll second it, Nancy.
Okay, I'll take a roll call. In favor, Stephen,
Aye.
Deborah,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Paige,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
and myself, Bernadette, aye. Motion passes 5-0-0.
Luck,
Thank you.
Patty. When are you gonna open?
So we're hoping to open early spring. We're hoping we're going to be over the hump of COVID and
Right.
starting this new venture. So we're hopeful for end of April, beginning of May to be open.
Great.
Great.
Good luck.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
good
Happy
luck.
holidays to everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
you.
You too.
Bye. Just Melanie, are you there taking the notes? The motion actually passed 6-0-0.
Yeah, I understood that. I got it.
And the other one passed 6-0-0 as well.
Thank you. Got that too.
So we have Wendy's Restaurant, 5 Canal Road, represented by Usama.
Yes, Osama Sahrawi, yes.
Okay, and would you like to present your,
Sure. Good evening. My name is Osama Sahrawi. I'm the franchise partner for Wendy's in Orleans. I've been operating this restaurant for 31 years myself personally. And what I'm doing here, I'm requesting is to replace the current attached cooler storage unit and a standalone freezer, which is sitting on the side with an angle to the building. with one unit come across, which is smaller, which not by design, it just came 19 square feet less than the previous two structures combined, which is to replace it with a better space for us, which is have the cooler and the freezer internally, accessible to the staff. Not to leave the freezer door open outside anymore and people forgetting it, and making sure the employees safe. It's a lot better, for operating the restaurant, and it's going to be more efficient energy wise. In the summer, humidity and all of this, keeping the door to grab, boxes of fries. So everything would be internally.
Great.
It's, it's a needed project. I put it, delayed it for a couple of years, but it's a good year this year to do the project that you need to do. So, and we'll be very happy to get approval for it.
Great. Any questions, Steve?
Yes, my question has to do with the elevation renderings, or whatever you want to call it, Photoshop elevation things. What's the screening to be made out of it? It looks like some sort of vertical paneling.
What screen? There's no screening. There's the actual structure itself.
That's the side of the cooler itself.
Yes, correct. Yeah, there's no.
Okay.
Currently now it's the same way. What I have there in the picture, if you see on the side there.
Yep.
The picture from the parking area,
Yep.
which you can see two structures, one attached,
Okay.
and the other one is standalone. And if you look from the other side, from the back door area, this is what exactly going to replace both of them with the same color as the facade, the same color as the existing freezer. There's no change. The height elevation is not going to change. It's going to be the same height elevation as we have. And that's it. So it's not really a big major change to the color or the elevation, or as you can see.
So the photographs that accompany the application, that's what's there now.
Correct. What do you see now are the two units, and then what you're going to have is just one unit coming across.
Okay.
That accessible fully only from outside, from inside, or from outside.
Any other questions, Paige?
No, I think I understand. So it's going to be connected to the building so you can get into it efficiently and.
I have one currently, which is the walk-in cooler, is connected to the building with some storage area, the existing one. And I have a standalone freezer by itself, which is the pad is a little bit higher than the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna remove that pad and then just put one pad for the entire new unit. And the square footage at the end, I didn't plan it that way, but it came 19 square feet under, which is it saved me going through the entire process of the ZBA and the site plan review, and it's approved by the building inspector.
Good. Questions, Carol,
No, I don't think so.
Deb,
No, no.
Nancy?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move we accept the application for the new freezer unit as submitted.
I second it.
That's Deb making
Carol.
the motion, Carol seconding. All in favor, Stephen,
Aye.
Paige,
Aye.
Carol,
Aye.
Deborah,
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
I'm Bernadette, aye. Motion passes unanimously 600.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
I'm just
luck.
curious, is the remodeling finished on the, last time we saw you, you were just starting to do your remodeling.
This is the final piece of it. I've done it over 3 years.
Yes, yes, I remember meeting you and you were talking about, so this is the new pictures of the new building.
When Hyannis remodeled, it took us about 11 weeks and we shut down for 11 weeks was too long. So I had some learning from, 2015, and I've done it without having to close that long because customers start finding another locations to eat. So
Right.
we've done it over 3 years, which is what's better for us.
Great, great. I bet you're glad.
Yeah, I am actually. This is the final thing and 100% completed. So
Oh, this is the grand finale. Well, congratulations.
thank you very much.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, so next on the agenda, we have Cape Cod Healthcare here for a preliminary review. 42 Route 6A in Orleans, represented by Greg Saronian,
Yes,
Michael Bachstein, and Dan Ojala.
we also have Eliza Cox,
And
the
Eliza
hospital's
Cox.
attorney. She's actually going to start the presentation.
Thank you, Greg, and good evening, members of the committee. As Greg mentioned, my name is Eliza Cox. I'm an attorney with Nutter, McLennan, and Fish in Hyannis. Although I live in Wellfleet, so I'm in the Outer Cape in Orleans frequently. We really appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening for preliminary review. As the Cape Cod Healthcare advances its plans, we're going to be hitting almost every board in Orleans with this project, and so we wanted to take advantage of the preliminary review process that you have in your zoning bylaw and welcome your comments as the plans advance. So joining me tonight, I think you mentioned everyone, but I'll just quickly introduce them. Greg Sarunian, who's the project architect, you'll hear from him shortly. Michael Bachstein, who's the Vice President of Facilities Management for Cape Cod Healthcare, is here waving in the bottom of my screen. And then Dan Ojala, who's the civil engineer from Down Cape Engineering, is also on the call. The property, as you mentioned, is 42 Route 6A. It's the former Lobster Claw restaurant, which closed recently, and Cape Cod Healthcare has that property under agreement to purchase. As you hopefully have seen on the plans, the proposal involves redeveloping the site and constructing an about 6,800 square foot medical office building that will have urgent care, primary care, and also provide an opportunity to bring specialty care into the site. In looking at the plans and advancing these redevelopment plans, our design team noted that although the site is somewhat constrained by its shape and there's some topography changes on the site, they really approached this redevelopment design with the goal of obviously meeting Cape Cod Healthcare's programmatic needs for the site, improving the streetscape along Route 6A, implementing a new design that has a traditional building design, which Greg will go through in just a moment, that's consistent with your town guidelines, improving safety and access in and out of the site, and also improving compliance with the zoning bylaw. And again, I'll have Greg in just a moment introduce you to the plans and walk you through the proposal. I just wanted to hit on the permitting that we anticipate with this redevelopment. We have been already before the site plan review committee for informal review, and then had some follow-up meetings with various technical members of that committee regarding the design. Obviously, we're here tonight for preliminary review, and we will be back to you for a formal review, probably just after the new year. There is a wetland just off the site, so we will also be going to the Conservation Commission with this project. We'll also be going to the Board of Health relative to septic and eventual connection to the town sewer, which is going to be right in front of this property. And then also to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a special permit for the use. We did, prior to doing any filings, reach out to the Historical Commission in town and did receive confirmation from the chair of the Historical Commission that no notice of intent under the town's historical demolition of historical structures bylaw is required. We will not have to go to that committee. And then finally, as it relates to the access and egress, we will need to get approval from the state because it's a state highway. But as it relates to what's in your purview, I'm going to actually turn this over to Greg, who will walk you through the plans. And then, as I said, we really welcome any comments and feedback that you have as we move forward.
Good evening.
Evening.
Again, my name is Greg Cerunian. I'm a licensed architect. My firm is Midcom Architectural Group. We're located in Bourne, so we're here on the Cape. So I looked at the packet that was online. I presume everybody has an actual printed copy. It looks like I will have the ability to share my screen. If,
Big.
can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so as Eliza had indicated, it's the Lobster Claw Restaurant. We took some photographs when we spent some time down in the site, just trying to get a feel for surrounding buildings, the scale, their character. So this was sort of the basis of where we started. Quickly sort of go through the site plan, just to orientate you a little bit. As you can see, you have Cranberry Highway 6A. The building is set back 25 feet 4 inches from the property line, which it is coming closer to 6A. We're given a great opportunity to create a landscaping field in front of this building, opposed to what's currently there is a sea of asphalt with no really controlled defining area. That also is going to give us the ability to do some nice landscaping, which we can review the landscaping plan. It wasn't part of your package, but it will be for the final package. As you come into the driveway, we do have a drop off for patients to get dropped off, and then the parking is all at the rear. So this building doesn't necessarily, with the parking in the back and having pedestrian access, we do have a sidewalk from the front street, but most of the activity for entry in the building is going to be here on this side entrance. So we actually think the drop-off canopy presents itself well on the building to signify the entrance. Parking's in the rear. We also have some mechanical area that's going to be screened with some plantings. And it also is behind this building here, which I believe is the fish market. On the left side of this entrance is it's a right-of-way. It's not part of our land. We have the ability to have our driveway on it, but we don't have the control of this property here. So there's not much we're going to be doing for landscaping and so forth on that. There is a sign, which is right where my cursor is, that we'll be able to look at those elevations shortly. As Eliza pointed out, we studied and worked with the Orleans Design Review Guidelines, paid attention to the character. That's in keeping with what Cape Cod Healthcare likes to do with their outer buildings. Building down in the right-hand corner is one that was done in Centerville back in 2016. Two-story building, but it has similar style, and mainly it was here to represent some of the building materials. We looked at the scale. We raised this building slightly we felt it would fit better in the neighborhood, give it a little bit of what we're calling a 1.5 story. There's really no program on the roof. In the attic will be some mechanicals, but we are placing some dormers with windows to break up the roof and give it some massing and details. Again, we think the scale fits well in the neighborhood. Like I said, the setbacks meet the town bylaw, but we also think that the front setback has given us a great opportunity to start to define the front of the building with some landscaping. The building materials that we're proposing, it's a vinyl shingle, so it's on this building with the architectural asphalt shingles, traditional windows with some nice trims, roof pediments. We're proposing a cupola on the drive-through canopy. Again, it's all elements to try to break up the scale and give it a little more character for Cape Cod style. The roof is, sloped, everything. There's no flat components to this. We tried to have a good pattern of windows as well as signage placement for well balance on the building. The lighting will comply with the bylaw for the lighting, and we're using some attractive light fixtures, more of a bell type with a pole, and some very slimline lighting on the building. And again, it will all comply with the bylaw for light levels and the cutoff. Not in your packet, which will be in the final, is the landscaping plan. We will have lawn in the front with some planting beds native to Cape Cod. We'll be using plants that we typically use when we're dealing with Cape Cod Commission. They have a nice list that we usually work from. We'll have a little bit of flower beds along the sign. Along the sidewalk, we have some low-lying plants and some flowering. In the back, we'll have some screening planting materials, the mechanical units. In this area, we have a little rain garden that will contribute to part of the drainage, and that's going to have some smaller plants. And then we have some larger trees along the back here. This is, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the back of the site or if they visited. This is not using it for boat storage, has some fence. So we, some trees here, we'll start to sort of screen that a little bit. This plan, we'll talk about this. I know it's probably not something in your purview, but the storm water management with this redevelopment of the property, we're reducing the impervious material and therefore, bringing this site up to the requirements of the other boards such as planning and conservation. The signs, this will be named after a donor that to be named. These are the Cape Cod standard color palettes. And we have a sign in the front. It will be the 32 square feet, which meets the bylaw. It's under 10 feet. I want to say this is approximately 6 to 7 feet in height. And then this is the building sign. And then this is, we have this over the entrance canopy just to have people realize, where to go.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Who wants to go first? Anybody?
Or suggest
I'll go first if you'd like me to. Stephen, Sally speaking. I had a couple of questions, Greg. One was any consideration given to a non-traditional design, or was this specified by Cape Cod Healthcare?
Again, they like their buildings to feel like Cape Cod. And again, we did see in the guidelines that you can have non-traditional, but this seemed to be more appropriate for their style of a building.
And then my second question was that there's actually nothing going on under the roof. That's the dormers, gable windows, and so on.
There's there'll be a mechanical attic, but that's only really in the middle section. These are not contributing to anything. We might be able to bring some of the light from these into space, kind of similar to skylights, but we haven't developed the interior fully yet.
Greg, I had a question. It's Carol Marsh about traffic. In the summertime, that can become a very, very congested area. And looking at the pictures, I should have driven by today. The proximity as traffic funnels into that rotary, do you anticipate that being an issue, particularly in the summertime? There's a lot of traffic, people pulling out of the Nauset Fish
So
and the Birdwatcher store.
As part of, some of the other boards, we do have a traffic engineer that is involved in this project, and he has written, some detail as it relates to that. I'm not sure we're prepared to sort of talk about that tonight, because I think we're still working with some of the boards on those aspects. Eliza, I don't know if you want to comment at all on that.
Yeah, we engaged, the hospital engaged Randy Hart from VHB to look at the traffic, and I'm actually pulling out, we submitted with the informal site plan review a trip generation memorandum that he had prepared, which actually shows on a daily basis, and I think almost every peak hour except maybe one, that there'll be a substantial decrease in the amount of traffic that's generated from this site versus the prior restaurant use, which had roughly 260 seats in it. One of the things that we're also working with the site plan review committee and the fire department with, and maybe Greg, you could go back to the site plan, but is working on an egress coming out of the site that will make people turn right out of the property so that they're not crossing over the lane, and then they'll go to the little roundabout to be able to reverse directions if they choose to go in the other direction. So it'll be a full access in, and then a marked right turn out of the site, which we think will, together with the reduction in trips, improve the traffic situation in this area versus prior conditions.
That will be much safer.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bernadette, I have a question. This is Nancy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. In the final plans, I was looking for the actual height of the building, trying to imagine this building. It's further out towards Route 6, and how much higher than, because there is a strong line of the fish store, the Sir Cricket, the bird store. I mean, they're all in a row, and this is going to come out.
Way forward.
Yes, way forward. Was there any thought in pushing it back more in line
We
with
don't
the
have,
existing structures?
fortunately, we don't have the room on the site. We would, where we have to have so many parking spaces, we have to maintain certain setbacks for that. So we have, we believe this is as far back as we can to meet the program of the building.
I would like to know where it comes forward in relationship to those parking spaces that are there. Is it right behind those parking spaces? I mean, you can't tell.
Almost in line. Here's
the back of the parking spaces. So can you switch to the other screen again? Where we can see
the photographs?
Yeah, where we can see the fish market.
Yeah.
So the front of the building is going to be in line with the back of their
that car.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty close. And so how much forward, I mean, you gave us a site plan and you did not superimpose it over the existing structure. So we can't see where the existing structure was.
It is here. It's hard to see. Let me window in.
Maybe when you come back, when you come back, one, your site plan, should be given to us to scale. And two, show us where the existing building is.
So if you can see my cursor.
Okay.
You can see these white dashed lines.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So how many front of that white dashed line of the existing building are you coming?
So I'm going to put a guesstimate to this because I don't have that dimension, but 25 feet 4.
It's like,
so that's about 25. So I'm going to say somewhere maybe between from the furthest point, which is over here, That's probably another 15 to 20 feet. So
Coming
we're-
forward.
From that point, from the mass part of the building, we're probably 35 to 40. But here's the line here, as you can see. And we're coming to here. But we are pinched back here because we have to have enough space to back up. And we have to have so many parking spaces.
Yeah, I would just
Bernadette,
add,
Yeah, I also think the scale, that's, our ridge height is 26'8".
And what is the fish market?
I don't have that dimension. We will,
Right.
we can verify that prior
I
to.
mean,
the
it would be
hearing.
nice to know how, what your scale is compared to either what was there, the lobster claw. I mean, that's, it'd just
Yeah,
be
I know.
nice. You
I'm
must,
pretty
for
sure we're below. Yeah.
ZBA, you have to have proposed and existing, so you have to know what that is.
I'm pretty sure we are lower than this, but we will confirm that.
Bernadette,
Yes.
this is Debbie. I just wanted to present another perspective though, and that is, this is all in the balancing, like that strip is all parking lots in the front. And we are now saying parking lots must be in the rear. The other thing is developing, maybe one day there will actually be a sidewalk where you can walk all along there. And we don't want parking lots butting the sidewalks. We want buildings butting close to the sidewalks just to create that edge. So I'm going to be a voice on the other side saying I actually really I'm very happy to see the parking lots in the rear and grass in the front. And I didn't know if there is a sidewalk going on 28. I'm sorry, 6A.
Well, isn't there one already?
Yes, there's a picture of it. It's right there.
Or it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
with
that won't
all
be
those
affected.
curb cuts. So that'll, yeah, so that's, well, there isn't, because it's all that parking lot, that horrible interconnected parking lot where it's like in bumper cars, everybody going in different directions, coming in and coming out from 3 or 4 different businesses. This will be much improved.
But we've worked in other towns that have very similar bylaws to this. What you do see is, over time, other buildings start to adapt to the changing landscape.
Yeah.
And, it becomes an overall improvement for the area.
Yeah. I just,
Do you mind telling us what the pitch is of the roof? There's no indication of what your roof pitch is.
I measured that to be probably a 9 or a 10.
Yeah, we're probably in 9, 10. I'll make sure that's on there for the formal submission.
So I had a few comments just to throw out there because I can. I like the building that you're modeling after it because it has a few either different colors or some variation in materials. I would really like to see some variation in materials. I think that is something that's in our bylaw that we're encouraging. So either in your gable ends, either some vertical materials or some horizontal materials to break up all those plastic shingles.
Yeah, so this is a darker shingle in this
It's
building.
a darker shingle, plus you have some trim boards. Your corner boards and your freeze boards are pretty skimpy. Maybe you could beef them up somehow to give a little bit more dimension to the building. And your dormers are pretty tiny. They look like little specks on a huge roof. And your roof is all one height. So I don't know if you have, especially on the street side, if you can somehow not make that mass that is 76 feet long or 80 feet long all the same height. I'm not sure if you can drop the wall in one section or raise the center section or somehow break up that massing, maybe give a shed dormer on one side, or maybe a gable dormer on the right-hand side with those two little dog houses. Just some of my observations. And also, if you take a drive by, I don't know if you're in the area, but I took a picture of it, and the Spalding Rehab, their pent roofs are made out of metal. They have very wide frieze boards and different height. Their roof lines are not all the same. Roof lines are the same height, but they've dropped some of the wall heights to give some variation to the roofs. And it's very effective, and it's a very handsome building.
Okay,
I think that, you're on the right track, but I think that it's very boxy on the street side, and it would really be nice to see some different use of materials in there.
Yeah. Can I just add to what you just said, Bernadette?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Debbie again. First, I'm going to say I definitely like the cupola and the entry overhang. I think we appreciate that. Orleans, we seem to have a lot of cupolas anyway, and I do like that. And I'd just like to second pretty much everything Bernadette just said. The technical design guidelines that have been developed by the Cape Cod Commission and have been used by most of the towns have resulted in all these buildings like this one that look like light gray boxes with a few gables sticking off them and some little dormers. And anything you can do to change that up a little bit would be appreciated. And also, especially the street side elevation, which obviously is what we're all going to be seeing driving by. I'm not going to give any specific recommendations beyond the kinds of things Bernadette just said, but something. So it just doesn't look like this little light gray box. Because one of the things I have to say with the location, on one hand, that's an area that's, got the Stop and Shop Plaza and, not particularly fine development happening along there. On the other hand, it's got kind of, I'll say, old Cape Cod charm in the buildings that are there, including the restaurant that's been there for a long time. And now we're replacing that kind of eccentric charm with very suburban, kind of modern, ersatz, Cape Cod style large building. So anything that can be done that could ameliorate that impression of the building, I think would be good as far as I'm concerned.
okay.
If I might add, this is Nancy. I agree with the two previous speakers that while I really like, and I thank you for paying attention to the guidelines, thank you for walking us through your answers to the 14 points of the design review. It's nice to see that you're reading the materials and you're paying attention to the suggestions. But something, especially that street view, to break that up in the center would be most appreciated.
I don't see any issues with any of the comments you're making. I think they're all
okay.
I think they're all things that can be easily achieved.
I'm a big fan of gray and white, unlike some of my fellow committee members. And that's Cape Cod, and that's just the way it is. And that's why we get so many visitors, because they like the architecture. But I think if we could just jazz it up and make it look a little bit more interesting, that would be helpful, especially since it's going to tower over these other structures, particularly to the right, the fish market and all of that. The quaintness and the charm, I guess we're just used to it. It's going to be a shock for a little while with this new super large structure, and hopefully you know, we don't want to speak out of both sides of our mouth. We're very happy that the parking is in the rear and want to compliment you and thank you for that, because that is a problem throughout the downtown area. But whatever you could do, one other, just nitpicking maybe, but there's only one place on this building where you have the address 42 6A and a small type on the front sign. I'd like to suggest that you look at other places, because I can't imagine driving if you have a medical condition. You know, until people are used to the building and where it is, that one little number, I don't think is going to stand out too well.
Okay,
Even though most of us would use a GPS, but not if it's a medical emergency. Until people get used to the building and certainly get used to the new name, whatever, we don't even know what the name is going to be. So the number on the building, some attractive way, more than just that sign, I think would serve you and your clients well.
okay. Have that
That's
ready.
all my comments for now.
Anybody else?
Well, I could go back and perhaps be a bit more specific if that's okay with everybody.
That's fine. I think it's.
Yeah, having given it some consideration, my suggestions would be to keep the cupola, but put it on the main roof. I would also eliminate the false dormers and lower the pitch of the roof. I guess that would be the scene in the driveway side elevation. You would lower that pitch, then the two gables would be more prominent. That would speak to your suggestion, Bernadette. And I also agree with you that the central gable that's going to face Route 6A, that could be emphasized with traditional architectural detail. Now, I have one more comment that, of course, nobody's going to like too much, and that is that I don't consider, plastic shingles to be an innovative material. I'd much prefer if at least the front of the building had real wood. So I think that's the extent of my thoughts at the moment. Thank you.
Steve, you mean real cedar shakes?
I do indeed.
Okay, I agree.
I don't mind the dormers. I think the dormers, if you get rid of all the dormers, it's going to be just too
Yeah.
blah, especially on the street side.
Yeah, we can.
Maybe
do
a gable dormer
Yeah. I
over
think the
those
gable dormer might
three
be-
windows.
I mean, how do you feel about the Nantucket style dormer?
I like a Nantucket style dormer better than those two dog houses.
This could become a Nantucket dormer.
It would be much better.
I think. if we-
And maybe you don't need 12-foot walls everywhere. Maybe you can drop them someplace, and so that you have
Yeah,
some variation.
I'm not too concerned with that. I think we could, because we did that in the back already.
Yeah, and that looks
Yeah,
good. And then,
Yeah.
and then maybe, I don't know if they would go for some metal, the pent roofs being out of, metal. But it looks
So-
really nice.
The what roofs?
Those little pent roofs, those little roofs that go across your gable, whatever you call them.
Oh, you mean here?
Yeah, but if those look really sharp when they're made out of, metal,
Yeah. But they're not-
really sharp. And then if you could somehow get either some horizontal or vertical material in there someplace. One section could be hardy plank, or it could be that boral wood or something that, we've just seen used other places, like a horizontal use or a vertical use. Because there's a lot of shingles on there. So I'm sure you'll come up with something creative. And maybe two
And again, this
cupolas.
style building is very easy to work with.
I mean, did you design the Fontaine Medical Center?
No, that was before my time.
Okay, but I mean, if you drove by there, they have some nice details on that building. They have,
Yeah, no,
you
I'm
know,
familiar
very,
with it. We actually did some
Yeah,
exterior renovations.
you know,
to it.
some wide freeze boards, you know, some wide corner boards, maybe
Yep.
some kind of, you know,
No, I think this was our interpretation of the guidelines. Hearing your comments, again, I think these are all easy things that we can adapt to. Nothing being told.
you can even change the colors up on, like you did on that other
Yeah, again,
building.
we actually had it designed with that, and we were afraid you guys were going to think it was too busy. So we peeled it
No,
off.
Oh,
some of us like, I won't speak for everybody, but a little detail,
Mhm.
even some color is good.
Right,
Well,
no, I
well,
think this is good feedback. I'm glad
Right.
we were able to come to the preliminary for this.
Good.
And I don't see any major issues trying to achieve any of this.
And the other thing is you're welcome to come back again. Like we had, you know, we had other people come back more than once. So they designed and then they listened to our comments and they redesigned and came back and listened to our comments, and then they came back, you know, a third time for their final. And I think if you have the time to do that, it could be beneficial for everybody.
So we'll address that as this can fit into our schedule.
Yeah, because you have a lot of boards to go through, and you know, I don't know where we fit in, you know, in all those boards, if we're before ZBA or we're after ZBA or we're after site plan review. I mean, I don't know where we fit in there.
So yeah, we're gonna
Or
need to get
after.
through before ZBA. We'll have to get through this board before the ZBA. So our hope at the moment is to try and get on your next hearing at the beginning of January.
Okay.
And that's gonna be, you're gonna go to site plan review before us?
We've done informal site plan review already, and then we've filed to get on formal site plan review for next week.
Okay, and then you come, and then you go to Conscom?
We'll be filing with Conservation Commission, also, I believe, for an early January hearing.
And then the ZBA is last?
That's what we've been told, that the zoning board likes to be the last stop in the local permitting process. So we're at the latter part of January, hoping to get on that agenda.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Good.
all right, well, any,
Bernadette,
yes,
this is Mefford. I'm wondering, I've been waiting for you guys to be finished, and I'm wondering if I might ask a question that has really nothing to do with your committee.
sure.
But since I've got the opportunity here, and I don't know if this is for Greg or for Eliza, there's a fair amount of curiosity in town, including for myself, as to the process, the thought process that Cape Cod Hospital went through in selecting this site. And if this question is out of bounds, just tell me. But we really are curious to know, what is it about this site that was preferable to the underground plaza, which is called in town, which is further up the road and right near the highway?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. This site I know had been identified by Cape Cod Healthcare and was available for sale. It also, I'm not sure if the other site is connected to town sewer, but this site will be connected to town sewer. So that was, a big plus for this use. But I don't know how to answer that question at this stage.
It was sort of, just had the opportunity to ask it, so I have.
Good question. This is Paige. I have a question just about rescue. I mean, I assume there will be times when your medical providers have to call a rescue. And will those vehicles go where the drop-off is? What is the plan for that? Or is there a special?
Good question. Yeah.
They will come in back here. This is
Okay.
for them there.
Yeah, I figured
The
there was
back
a
door.
different area.
This
Thank
is
you.
Yeah, this is the side that they would most likely get called for.
Okay, thank you. I was hoping it was a different area, so.
This is
And we
the
did
side-
have a meeting with the fire department to go through this and
Mhm.
get their thoughts on that location too.
This design, so in the event that they do need to come or drive through for whatever reason, they can.
Okay, thank you.
First things the fire department had asked us.
Hey. Wow.
Right.
Anything else? So thank you for coming, and we look forward to having you come again.
Great.
Great,
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Much.
Thank you.
Okay.
So now we can do the minutes. If you, I for some reason didn't print the minutes, and I'm not sure I was at either one of those meetings. So does somebody have those minutes?
I do.
Okay,
You were at the November 12th meeting.
okay. So maybe I can get it on. Was it on the agenda?
Was what on the
It was
agenda?
included in the packet that's posted online and also with what I sent out to everybody.
Okay, because I didn't print it all, so
Yeah, it was in the packet, and if you go online to the Town of Orleans website, you'll see the packet, and in
Yeah,
the
I
packet
can
is
get the
minutes.
packet on my cell phone and look at it. So,
The
So it-
October
it-
22nd, Bernadette, you were not there.
okay, so why don't you guys read that? And, can't find it now. You know what date you sent out that? Okay, I got the packet.
So can we, you weren't at the 22nd meeting, Bernadette, so can
Right.
the rest of
So
us
it's, yes,
go ahead and do that?
Yep.
Right, we can still discuss after moving, but I move the minutes be accepted for the meeting of October 22nd as presented.
Second page.
all in favor, Stephen,
Steve says aye.
Deb,
Aye.
Nancy,
Aye.
Carol?
Aye.
Motion passes 5.
Page.
Is it
Okay.
5,
Wait a
5,
minute.
501?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
Okay. So now I have it for November 12th. So Nancy, Carol, Bernadette, Deb, and Stephen. The Paige was not here, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay, Church of the Holy Spirit and the Stop and Shop. Those, that solar array is pretty big.
It is.
It is.
They got a lot of planting to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing their landscape plan.
It also looks like it goes closer to the house than I thought it was going to be,
The rectory.
but it's
It
not
looks-
done.
Looks much bigger,
Not
yeah.
done. You can't really tell till it's done.
Right. It looks like it's not going to be as high as the posts are. I'm assuming they attach it and then they trim down those posts.
I believe you're right, Nancy.
Okay, because that is high.
It is high. So,
It's interesting to see drawings and then actually see it in person.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really have drawings of that, so
That's true. That's true. Thank you. I stand corrected, Steve.
important point.
Yes.
oh, anyone want to make a motion to accept these minutes of November 20, no,
Hang on a
November
second,
12th?
Bernadette. Bernadette's Melanie speaking. Hi.
Hi.
These minutes weren't prepared by me, and there was one misspelling of your last name in them, and I do not have the ability to amend them because they only have
Okay.
a PDF format. So
Oh.
if Nancy could please fix the spelling of your last name and resubmit the amended minutes, I would request that when you vote on the minutes that you amend them so that your name is spelled correctly.
Right at the top, Nance. It says Mac McLeod.
It sure does. I wish somebody would have called me. I would have had it changed by now. Sorry about that, Bernadette.
That's all right. All right, so anything else in there that anyone noticed? They were very good minutes.
They were.
Why,
They-
thank you.
They are.
Melanie, have no fear. I'm not taking over your job.
It's hard.
It's okay. I'm back now. I know. Yeah, it was hard for me this time too with all the applicants and trying to scan those plans. Oh my God, that was awful.
Well, that isn't gonna happen again.
No, not anymore. And I like your method of, makes so much more sense.
Yes, thank you, Bernadette, for doing
Yes, Bernadette. And also I shouldn't have scanned that that souvenir thing that said copies on it. I knew that wasn't right. I should have just scanned the original and left it alone.
Right,
I don't know
yeah.
why I did that. I'm sorry.
Well, that's why, all right, so let's take care of these minutes.
Okay.
Anybody would like to make a motion to accept the minutes with the spelling corrected?
So moved.
Motion, or you wanted me to do it, Deborah?
I just, so moved.
Second?
Well, I'll second it then.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Bernadette, aye. Stephen?
Aye.
Deb?
Aye.
Nancy?
Aye.
Paige?
Abstain.
Oh, you weren't here. Just Carol.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0-1. Okay, so I would say the next order of business, does anybody have the, did anybody print the application?
The what?
The Architectural Review Committee application that people are going to, I sent that to everybody.
Yep.
Right.
I didn't get it, Bernadette.
You didn't?
No,
I couldn't open it.
Oh, you couldn't open it?
mine didn't have an attachment.
No, nor did mine.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have it either.
Oh, because I sent it to Ada and I thought I sent it to she sent it to everybody on the
I have
committee.
mine.
I got it, but just because of my computer, which is having problems. I didn't see it till right before the meeting.
Okay. So if anybody could go on their email, there was a message from Ada. And it says revised ARC application, and that was sent yesterday at 3:15. I don't know if you want to try to get on it now. We can talk about it later. So basically she sent an application, and it says for sign plan review, 8 copies. We're going to ask for 8 copies because when we get another member, there's going to be 7 of us plus Melanie needs a copy. So
Right.
we're just going to request 8 copies now, even though 1 is going to be wasted. So when you go to a committee like the Board of Appeals, or you go to a historic meeting in Chatham or any other meeting, you have to present 12 copies of everything. Photos, site plans, drawings to scale. So I'm going to request 8 copies of everything to scale. 8 copies of the photographs, 8 copies of the site plan, which neither of those people had site plans.
Right.
The color samples and the lighting. So they're gonna have to bring in 8 copies of everything. That way, the only one that's gonna be scanned is gonna be the one on the town website. So
Okay.
everybody can pick up a packet. You know, if it's snowy and I don't want to pick up a packet because I don't want to walk, you know, on the ice, then I'll download it and print it myself. But the site plan also has to be to scale for any alteration, addition, and new building reviews. I don't, you know, for the sign reviews, maybe they don't have to be to
Yeah.
scale.
I was going to say that can be kind of onerous for these
Yeah.
building owners, and some of them are even tenants. So
Yeah, yes.
just so they show us where relative to everything else on the site it is.
Yeah, but for new
Pretty
buildings, it
good.
has to be to scale. Because
You know, and you,
we couldn't
we talked
measure
about,
off of that. We couldn't measure off of that thing that he gave us. We couldn't tell.
well, but that was for preliminary. But the other thing about the scale is, and maybe this wouldn't be true for the site, but for the drawings, for elevations and stuff. At one time, we talked about requiring 1/4-inch scale. Because the bylaw doesn't actually, well, it has a minimum of 1/8. But if you recall, on the police station,
Yeah.
one of the issues we had was that at 1/8 scale, it's really hard to see some of the detail that was actually there.
Well, we can request
that we
it.
apparently approved, and maybe if it had been a little bigger, we would have seen it.
Well, I think that we could, because when you go to historic, like in Yarmouth
Yeah,
or Dennis, it's 1/4-inch minimum
yeah,
for your elevations.
But
right.
does that mean that people will simply, press a button on the computer and just blow the thing up? We'll just have more bigger paper.
Well, we will.
I mean, we have to have sufficient detail is what I'm getting at.
As
That's
long as
Right.
it's
what
to
I think you're
scale.
getting at.
Right. You know, I think 1/8 inch is enough, and we could ask our questions, like how big
Yeah.
are your corner boards? How big are your rake boards? How big
Okay.
is your fascia board? I mean, we can ask those questions, and then, you know, we can continue the meeting and they can come back.
Yeah,
We don't
That's
have to
true.
approve it at one meeting.
Because we
Right.
weren't able to do that.
that's true.
And we can ask for more detail on something and say, well, you're gonna have to come back to the next meeting and show us the detail.
Right.
I mean, we have been in the past too lenient with some of these, you know. I mean, it's hard to tell in the scale of these drawings, which are 1/8 inch scale. The corner boards look really skimpy. They look like, 2 by 6, 1 by 6, or, they don't look hefty at all.
Mhm.
And I think that they should give us more detail on the trim detail.
Eventually, they'll have to provide that anyway. There'll be a blown up detail, that they love peppering details everywhere.
Yeah, well, all right, so we'll just say should we say site plan to scale on new buildings?
Oh, yes.
I think it'd be-
Yes.
Okay, well, what
Absolutely.
about for exterior alterations or additions? You want them to the site plan to scale? I mean, I guess if it's an existing building and they're just replacing a window, we don't need a site plan to scale.
We can't change the bylaw. Bylaw does not require, I'm just trying to read it, for preliminary review.
I'm not saying preliminary review, I'm saying for for.
But that's what it is. It's in the bylaw, it's preliminary review for
Well, I
sign.
know, but for the, I'm not talking about preliminary review. I'm talking about the regular review. Because I
For
wrote to her.
certain things, this, I'll just say this, the bylaws are written in a very confusing and convoluted way. However, that is what we have to work with and we can't change it.
Does
They
not
call,
bylaw
they
talk about
call
definition
signs and other
site plan.
modifications like decks and accessory structures and siding and roof, doors and window replacement is called subject only to preliminary review.
Okay, so that's okay. So
Right.
so the other review, does it say to scale?
Yes. It says elevations to scale. It doesn't say site plan. Oh, it says boundaries and dimensions of the lot, but it doesn't say to scale.
Okay, well, we need to change that then. I don't know how we do it.
Oi, oi, oi.
Well, we changed, didn't we change? I mean, it's silly for them to give us a little tiny site plan that's not to scale. We don't even know,
Right,
can't
I
even
think you're
read
talking
it.
about the
Right.
definition of a site plan. By definition, it's a scale drawing. Otherwise, it would be you might call it a diagram or a sketch, but it does say site plan.
right.
Well, I just think on this thing that she's going to give people, or that's online, it could just say site plan to scale.
It wouldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Bernadette, can we get a copy of what you just sent to us, of what you
I
just?
emailed it. Everybody should have it. I sent it to everybody.
Open up what you sent, Melanie. It's not what she's holding up.
It had
Well,
two
there's two
attachments
sheets.
in it.
2
I've
sheets.
opened both, Melanie. There's 2 copies of the architectural review application.
Yeah, one says the architect review application, and then is I'll send it. I'll forward it from my phone.
Thank you.
I thought I did.
It's the same document twice, Mel.
Yeah.
That's just what Ada sent me.
That's
other
okay. I'm
thing-
just trying to not placing blame. I'm just trying to get the right document in front of me.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I can get it.
No,
Well,
I'm sending it now.
I want to say,
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I don't want to stop the meeting.
I
Thank
don't think we can act on this right away. I think we should cite the bylaw because it has more detail and background. And I also wanted to mention, since I got this, I pulled out my zoning book, and what should fall out but this, which I completely forgot about. It's not dated, but it's a draft that has notes on it for revising
Bylaws.
for a new form with guidelines for architectural review. It's the new, a
Right.
different.
We
slightly
did that,
different
what, 2
format.
years ago?
Right, so I just found it, and apparently, I thought, I don't know how it got on Town of Orleans letterhead.
Letterhead? Well,
It got
good.
further along, and we were still revising it. Maybe I'll scan it and send it to everybody. See, it's a little more detailed.
Yeah,
and stuff that we could take out.
The more detail, the better.
And
I would
it's,
say that inevitably, as we get into these more complicated projects, that's going to be necessary, more detail.
right, and they really need to be, they should be anyway for these big projects, but that's why I think we need to cite the bylaw specifically because it has other stuff in it that will affect them. That they need to
Right, and that should be, I guess it should be on the website. Yeah, it could be right on the, it could be right on the application or on the, whatever it is.
On the instruction sheet?
Yeah, the instruction sheet. And I think make it more official.
Yeah,
Did anything we changed, Deb, change the bylaws, or we were just making it clear what we?
No, this was just a new version of the application
Got
that
it.
pulled out. I think
Right.
our thinking was we changed the format a little bit and included what we were talking about last time, whether people, what they had to check whether it was preliminary or final.
Right.
Whether it was an outdoor lighting request, an appeal from the building commissioner's decision. I don't know why we have that, but I don't know if this is an old version or something. To be honest, I know we did this years ago and it's been wiped from my memory banks, except that we did it.
Well, I think it was, I think that they can, if the building commissioner makes a judgment on something, like, we can repeal that.
Right.
They could come to us and we can,
Right.
just
Right.
like if they come to us and we, so say we disapprove of this Cape Cod healthcare, they can go to the zoning board of appeals and appeal our decision.
Correct.
Right.
That goes back to the discussion, and we've had this over and over again over the years, of how do we know what the other committees are doing? How do we know what's been approved, what hasn't been approved? And I think, Deb, that form that you have in your hand was our attempt to communicate where we were in relationship to other committees and
Well,
processes.
we were notified by George, Missouri, which I sent to all of you guys about the housing.
Oh, yeah.
He sent that to me.
On these other things in general, it might be nice to know just theoretically, but it's really not our jurisdiction to talk about any of these other things. That's not our charge. Other people are, other committees.
Right, like the traffic. That really, it's none of our business.
Of ZBA, of.
But do you think that housing project is going to come before us too?
No, I haven't looked at it, but I know because it's a 40B application, which is, specifically controlled by federal and state law. One of the deals is that it's one-stop shop. So they don't have to go to all the different committees one at a time. They can go to one committee, the ZBA, and all the committees can weigh in. So we all need to pay attention to that.
You're talking about the West Road project?
Yeah. And attend that meeting to speak.
Yeah. I didn't realize that they were going to be adding other buildings. I thought they were just using that main building.
No, they're adding townhouses. There's a pretty substantial article in today's Chronicle.
Oh, I'm going to read it then.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look. Well, I can't really open it very easily. In fact, that email shut down my email because it was
Your
so
email
big.
hasn't been working, Deb.
It was so big, the attachments, and then all these attachments going back and forth, that my email server said, no more for you.
That's why your emails have been rejected?
Well, just today.
Yeah, but I sent you some stuff and it was rejected too.
And I did too, and it was rejected.
I sent you the agenda.
I tried to send you something yesterday and I got it back.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Ever since George sent that, and I got a few more emails, my email hasn't been working. Anyway.
It's temporary failure.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so why don't you if you want to even put that in the box here, I can scan it and send it to people,
Okay, that'd be good.
There's a box outside our door. If you just want to leave it out there in an envelope, I can scan it here and send it to everybody, and then we can give it to Ada when we're ready, and she'll give it out when people come in.
And we can decide how much of this we really want to include. It seems maybe a little too much, but
very hard to redesign a form that fits every scenario. So there's going to be some gaps and overlaps, but it's better than what we have.
Right.
So we'll pass it around, and if anybody has comments, they can make the comments, then we'll give it to Ada, or we can wait till the next meeting to discuss it again.
Yeah, let's do that.
Fine. Either way.
Could I
As
ask a
people
procedural
weigh
question?
in.
Yes, go ahead, Steve.
How much are we allowed to discuss things via the email? And for example, you just said you pass it around, we make comments. That's
Well,
okay.
that's just for our application. That's not I don't
Okay,
think,
that's
we're not
project.
So
we're
as
not
long as we're not
discussing anything
discussing
public.
the actual
I really
project.
don't know.
Like
I
I
don't
can't
know.
email people and say, I
I
think
think
this is
if it
not
has
fair.
to do with administration, then it's okay. But because we're not allowed to deliberate.
Right,
Mhm.
right. We're only
Yeah.
talking about the design of a form. We're not talking about an applicant.
Okay.
Yeah, so we could try putting comments and then.
Yeah,
But we
and
should probably
also,
do
we have
comments,
to, the other
redo
thing,
it, and then discuss it, get it on the agenda and discuss it.
yeah,
at
we'll
the next
discuss
meeting.
it at the next meeting, but the other thing that we have to do is we have to, that conflict of interest thing. We have to do that too, I think.
Oh
Huh?
my God.
I thought we already did it.
Well,
Yeah.
somebody just sent it to me, so I have to look at it. I can't, I have to find that and do that. I don't know if you all have to do it or just I have to do it, but somebody sent that.
You have to do it every 2 years, I think, Bernadette.
Okay, but so each person has to do it every 2
Each
years?
person has to do it from their
Okay.
anniversary date, from first at hire, when they're hired as a committee member, and then I think it's every 2 years after that they have to redo it. It's either 2 or 3 years. I forget, because I have to do it in Chatham too. And I
Okay.
did mine in Orleans in
Okay, so-
2019. I forget the timeline. The town clerks are the ones responsible for that.
Yeah, she sent it, so I guess you guys don't have to do it then.
No, everybody has to do it at a
Right, but
certain
I mean,
time.
you don't have to do it at the same time I'm doing it.
No, everybody does it within their anniversary date,
Right.
a certain time after.
Okay,
May
all
I,
right,
may I ask a question, Bernadette?
yeah,
This is Nancy. We had some signs that were going up, and the Toast of the Coast was on the agenda and then pulled off, and then we had,
Emergency.
right,
Yeah.
and we had it, right, and then we had another one that never came forward, and now there's more new signs going up in the Shaw's Plaza.
okay, well, send me an email and I'll send it to Tom
Okay,
Evers.
okay.
He's the enforcer.
All right, fine. Is Meph still there?
No,
No, he left. Okay.
That was
but I
a
can
very
email
good-
him.
All right, October 22nd, he said he was going to work on getting this committee a list of new businesses.
Right.
Yeah, but didn't he say after that there is no list of new businesses?
I
I
don't
thought-
remember that.
I
I just remember him saying that he provided us with a list.
Well, just note the new ones and send them to me and I'll send them to Tom and Meth.
I'm surprised Shaw's, they come before us for everything. Why wouldn't they do signs? It's
These
funny.
are two spaces. Now they look like the signs are banners. They're not hard wood signs.
Oh.
They're
okay.
large banners announcing a new business.
And is that the
Well, those are temporary signs then. They don't have to come before.
Yeah, so when the new business gets their business license and all that, then they'll probably have to then they'll be notified that they have to come before us for the sign,
Okay.
I would assume.
But the cottage, the pro cut hair, the Toast to the Coast, they're
Yeah.
still floating out there.
Right,
Okay.
All right.
all right, so I think I'm ready to adjourn. It's 8 o'clock and I gotta go home. Been here since 8 to 8. All right, so I'll make a motion. Anyone make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
so move, Paige?
All in favor?
We have to-
Aye.
Bye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0-0.
All right.
See y'all
Right.
next time. Good
Thank
night.
you.